Greetings. This is Tyra Olafemi, your goddess guru, here to share a word of inspiration to assist you along your way on your path to self-realization and self-mastery. Self-realization is knowing the fullness of who you are. And the great news is we can just keep transcending who we know we are to find out the next level, the next layer. We can continue to work on mastering ourselves. It's always something new to master. As long as we're in a body, we have lessons. We have places we can go within ourselves. So I share to assist us all on this path. I use an oracle. Sometimes I just hear things and I just share what I hear, but I do consult the oracle. And I like to share wisdom to assist us for 2014. This part of the video, I will speak on something that I just can't shake. And that is talking about what is self-realization. And what I will do is share with you what I know, what my process is like. And I just feel like someone out there needs to hear this. We ask ourselves, what is our purpose in life? Well, our purpose in life, it could be what you want it to be. I feel that we come into this physical reality because we choose to be here. I don't feel that it's happenstance. I don't feel that someone hand selected me to come here at this time. I feel that I chose to come here. And you know, there's the process of incarnating. There's so many stories about how we get here. The one that we're pretty certain of is the physical way of landing in the physical realm. We come through the womb of a body, the womb of a woman, and her egg was fertilized by a man and his sperm, or however it happened, because so many different ways nowadays with modern day science. So that's what it appears, and it appears that our parents chose us, or God chose our parents for us. Yeah, I mean, I don't argue with anyone about how they see it. It's a myriad of ways, many paths, one truth. One truth is we're all here. No one's going to argue with that. We are all here in this physical realm, and so, you know, there's a way to get here, and I see it as that there's layers, levels of incarnating into a body. And the non-physical aspect of ourselves is plays the biggest role in how we get here, why we get here. But make no mistake about it, we choose to be here. Okay, we're just going to operate based on that. We choose to be here, and that is why we're here. And we come here to experience who we are. Our non-physical, our physical, our mental, our emotional. There are so many layers and levels to who and what we are. And that's what we come here to figure out and experience. That's it. It's not real complicated. It's deep, but it's not. The problem is that oftentimes we come here and we have no clue. Our culture doesn't necessarily know how to teach us who we are. There's a lot of misinformation about the who and why of our existence. And so we get confused, or we have no clue whatsoever. And what ends up happening is we sort of buy into different beliefs or different ways of operating, and you just sort of start doing what everyone else is doing. And oftentimes people will get to a point where they're like, why in the world am I here? Everyone normally is going to ask at least once in their life. At least that's my hope. I don't have any confirmation for 100% of the time this is what happens, but I would like to believe that the majority of the people in the world ask at least one time, what the crap am I here for? What am I doing here? And so that will start a journey for a lot of people. Now, some people come a little more clear on who they are. Their gifts are apparent. For whatever reason, their gifts are nurtured, or their gifts have the ability to come out so that they can use them and develop them. See, the self-mastery piece is we have a lot of energy within us that is latent. It is potential energy. It has not yet been used. We have to tap into it. And 2014 is about tapping into the power within through spirituality. But a lot of us have gifts and abilities that are crazy amazing. We're like superheroes, but we don't know it because we're not taught that. We're not given an opportunity to develop it. Some people just have this way of naturally blooming and blossoming. Sometimes I see those people as non-conformist. I see those people as ones who are not, you can't easily convince them that what the world says about them is true. They just kind of go with their truth about themselves and just kind of go with this natural gift, a talent and ability that they have. And so for a lot of us, we are coming here to figure out what's in me, what's in there. But life distracts us. We sometimes don't even ask the question. We don't even come close to understanding that it's there. But that's why we are here. We are here to understand all levels of ourselves, body, mind, and spirit. Self-realization, knowing who you are. Let me say this. I said in the beginning that we choose to be here. One of the things that I hear many gurus and success gurus talk about is the fact that the best thing you can do is accept responsibility for your life. Accept responsibility for everything that goes on in your life. For those who have been victimized as children, sometimes it's difficult to accept, I'm accepting responsibility for somebody abusing me. I don't think so. Oh, excuse me. That's my dad. I don't think so. And so it's really, sorry. It's really important, excuse me, I have to turn off my phone, to understand what is that about? I was abused as a child, or there are things that happened to me that I had no control over when I was a child. Let's assume that is the case. What we have the responsibility of doing is making sense of it all. If it wounded us, we have the responsibility to get ourselves healed up. If it broke us down and we got down and dirty into the pit, the miry pit of life, it's our responsibility to not lie down there and whine and cry like a victim, but to get up and do something with our lives. Even if we accept, honestly, I had nothing to do with the abuse that was inflicted upon me when I was younger, because that's a lot of times where the problems start. If we buy into that as true, then at some point you accept responsibility for what you are doing in your life right now. Accept responsibility for everything in your life. Okay, if you, let's say we want to take it a little more expanded. If I buy into, I chose to come here. I landed in a situation where, as a child, I experienced abuse. I'm not saying I did, but I'm just saying, what if? Because this is a big what if. I mean, a lot of people use this as a reason for why they can't do what they want to in life. Once I begin to understand self-realization, once I begin to understand, I choose to be here. I said, yes, I'm going into the the realm of physical, the physical realm. And I'm going to have an experience. There's some lessons I want to learn. There's some things I want to know about myself. And I know the only way it will happen is if I land in this particular situation. There's some lessons you can't learn unless something happens to make you learn that lesson. It's some things you cannot learn unless you have certain things happen. And so maybe initially I forget and it gets me down. But then after a while I start saying, wait a minute. I know that I'm not this body. I know that I am a wise, infinite soul, very old, timeless soul that chose to be in this body. I, at some point, decided to have this experience. I create my reality. I created this reality. And this is when you have to learn the different levels of yourself, because you would say, bam, this physical part of me. Why would I create this? Okay, well, maybe we need to understand there's so much more to us than this level of consciousness that we are used to accepting. This is me. This level of consciousness, we say, this is me. Well, there's a level beyond that. And that level, it is transcended. It is all knowing. And it creates these situations so that we can have these experiences. And if we accept the physical realm is a place for us to come, it's just like going onto a TV set. You have to have the set in order to create this false reality that comes through the TV screen. And that's what this realm is. It's like being on a TV set. And we create the reality. And every person, every playwright has a reason. It has a motive, a theme for their life. And many of us don't know it. You know, I do incarnation readings for people. Someone did one for me. We do these incarnation readings so we can understand really why are we here. And then you begin to understand, oh, that's why this happened or that's why that happened. But most of us, we don't have that. But there is a theme. Even if you never get an incarnation reading, there is a theme. There is a reason. There is a meaning for our lives. And sometimes we have to slow ourselves down enough to hear what that is. Sometimes we have to stop making up extra stories to stay so that we get out of this rut that we find ourselves in. But when we know that we are wise souls, that there are levels of ourselves, and there's a level that helps to create situations that will promote growth, that will promote lessons, then we say, oh, I created this. Oh, yeah, that's right. First of all, I'm not even touched because the real me is not this skin. Even though I may experience things that hurt me in this life, the real me is not this. So really, I'm not even touched. You know, a lot of times when you look at my website, if you go to the emotional body, when I talk about the emotional body, I talk about radical forgiveness. Well, I talk about radical forgiveness because it is one of the best tools I've ever used to help me to understand how everything is a setup to help me grow, you know, and that whatever seems like it was hurtful really was a great divine scheme to help me grow in my spirit, develop, move to the next level. And once we begin to accept responsibility for our lives, then we don't have to lay down as a victim. We don't have to say, well, I don't have any control over anything. You have control over everything in your life. You create your life moment by moment. And that's what self-realization is all about, understanding all of that. But self-realization puts you in a place where you say, I accept responsibility. I'm not blaming nothing and nobody else for anything that's going on in my life. And if I do, I'm choosing to blame them. But really, ultimately, I am the only person that controls my reality. And once you begin to accept full responsibility for your life, you take control over understanding, I'm here to know who I am. Then you're going to take risk. You're going to say, oh, let me try this or let me try that. And if it doesn't work, it's no boo-hoo. Just, I learned a lesson from that and let me move on to the next. You know, or let me stay with this one right here. This one's not easy. but it's something I want to stick with it for whatever reason in your heart. You feel like this relationship, this job, this experience is one that I want to stick with to see what can it pull out of me, and that's why it's important to operate from your heart, to keep your heart chakra clear, and to operate from a position of joy. When we're not feeling joy, it's okay. It's just an indication. It's letting you know, okay, maybe you have some misinformation, or maybe you have you're not looking at things the right way. Maybe you are not headed in the right direction. You're doing something you shouldn't do. And so self-realization, that's why we're here, to know who we are fully. And it doesn't matter if you have a religion or you don't have a religion. I think religion is a good thing. I don't have any problems with religion. I study books from religions around the world, and I love watching people who engage in their religious practices, and I watch them go through their self-realization process. They all know who they are more as a result, especially when they're really living the wisdom, because the wisdom is wisdom, it's truth. It doesn't matter if it comes from a religious book or not. Truth is truth, okay? And so it's a beautiful thing to see everyone in their own way figuring out who they are, expanding themselves, transcending the limited understanding of who they are, so that they can become more fully the truth of who and what they are, which is boundless, endless potential. There's no limit to who we are. If you can find the limit, show me, okay? But we transcend this body. The body is just a tool. This body is not who we are. There's so many more levels. I'll give you an example of something neat that has happened to me recently. And that is, I'm 43 now, and I don't know why it mind trips me. I think it's because I bought into something about the 40s. When people hit their 40s, a lot of times they talk about aches and pains. Well, it's like, I see youngsters hurting, and I don't know. Anyway, I sort of started buying into some of this 40-pluser stuff. And I really wanted to start taking capoeira, a Brazilian martial art. And everyone in the group is younger than me, like by 10 years. Recently, when I met someone, she was like 39 or something. But anyway, I started feeling a little silly for wanting to take it. But I just all of a sudden wanted to start taking capoeira at 43. And I just decided, I think this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to go for it. I feel like it's relating me to my culture, the culture of Africans. I don't know where my ancestors come from, so I just sort of latch on to Africa, around the world. And I just have had this opportunity to study capoeira from someone who is really, really gifted in capoeira. And so I struggled at first. I wasn't going to do it. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going for it. I'm going to go for it. And the thing that ended up happening is I ended up feeling younger as a result of it, and feeling more alive, excited, happy, joyful. And I never learned how to do a cartwheel as a little girl. I think people tried to teach me. I don't know why I never could get my legs up in the air and straight. And so that was one of the things I was like, I feel like a loser, because I never have been able to do a cartwheel. I don't even see how I'm going to be able to do what's called an awu, which looks like a cartwheel. I mean, that's what it is. Basically, it looks like a cartwheel, except for you use it to escape. Anyway, as a form of escape. But anyway, recently I was given an opportunity to learn how to do awu. Well, there's different ways of doing it. And so, like, if you can't really do the cartwheel type awu, there's a low awu you can do. It's actually not easy to do the low awu. But, I started there. And then the instructor said, okay, straighten your legs. They don't have to be all the way up. Just get them straight. And next thing I know, my legs went all the way over. I mean, I felt like I was flying. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so exciting. And so it's just a small example of how we think we can't, but then, you know, here we are doing things at 43 that we couldn't do at 10. And you just have to give yourself a chance, okay? That's what self-realization is about. Give yourself a chance to be all of who and what you are. Don't let the world stop you ever. Don't let the world tame you ever. Know who you are. Do not let the world tell you who you are. You know who you are. You know who you are for yourself, and do not deviate from that. And when you operate according to who you really are, the world is a better place because you will be doing what you're supposed to be doing. We're all one consciousness. When you are operating according to your true identity, then what happens is a vibration goes out and other people pick up on it. And they receive that same spark to know who they are and to operate according to their true identity. So it is the gift that keeps on giving. Know who you are. You will make the world a better place. And you will help others in turn do the same. This is Tyrola Famey, sharing a word of inspiration that can be used at any time, but I'm creating this as we enter into 2014. Self-realization, know who you are, tap the power within. See you in the next video.